So what I've got here is the iPhone 7. If there's anything that's slightly different with a newer model iPhone, I will mention it. The first thing that seniors and beginners need to know about the iPhone is, of course, how do we turn it on and off? So if it's an iPhone that has the home button, so that's an iPhone 7, it's older iPhones, it's also the iPhone SE, which is one of the newer phones that still has the home button. If you turn it to the side, you're going to see this side button. That is essentially your power button. So to turn on and off, really simple. I simply press the button for both on and off functions. Now, what I'm actually doing right now is not powering off the phone completely just yet. I'm actually only putting the phone to sleep. So in other words, it's like standby mode or, low power saving mode. It doesn't use as much of the battery when I just turn the screen black like this. But if I actually want to turn the phone off completely, for example, I'm at the cinema or I'm hopping on a plane, which hopefully will be soon, we hold this button for a few seconds until you see this appear. So as you can see, it says slide to power off. So that is essentially what I do. I use my finger, I touch the screen and I slide across. And now the phone is completely off. So to turn it back on, I keep pressing that button on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Until you see the Apple logo again. Now, that action of turning the phone off completely, it is actually something good to do once in a while for the health of your phone. If you think of that function of holding, powering off completely, it's a little bit like giving your phone a deep sleep. So that allows it to refresh itself. Whereas if you just click the phone to put it to sleep temporarily, it's just only having a power nap. So that's just another little tip when it comes to this phone. So if you happen to have a newer model phone, the iPhone, say 10 and so forth, you'll notice it also has a side button. However, if I keep holding that button, it may not show that screen that I just showed you earlier with the previous phone. So the way we turn off this phone completely is we hold the side button as well as one of the other buttons on the opposite side, which we will talk about a little bit later. So we press these two together. And now we've got that message, slide to power off, but that pretty much is the same function. We slide and then that will turn the phone off completely. But as for just putting the phone to sleep, it's similar to the previous phone. We just go click, it's asleep, click again, it's awake. Now, the next thing is understanding how do we get into apps, opening them, closing them. Have we actually closed them? So there are some things that I actually didn't learn till much later in terms of properly closing your app. So I will talk about that in this lesson. So to open the phone itself, as in go into the main screen, if you've got a phone with the home button, you're pressing this button now. That wakes it up. If I press it again, I now am prompted to put in my passcode to actually log into the phone. If I've got my fingerprint set up, I can use that. But for now, I'm just going to pop in my code. Please excuse my very secure code. So there we go. We're now in the phone. So to open an app, it honestly is as simple as touching the app we want to open. So let's say we want to open the phone app. So we just go touch. And now we are in the phone app. Navigating, we just touch the different areas like so. So how do I get out of the app if I want to open, say, my text messages app? I simply press this home button. And now I'm back in the main screen. But I haven't actually closed that application. It's in effect minimized in the background. So it's still running a little bit, it's using a little bit of my battery. So this is how I make sure that application is closed if I'm not using it right now. What I do is I press this home button twice, but it needs to be quite sharp. So try to press it within 1 second like this. Click, click. So now I'm actually seeing all the applications I've ever opened and never yet closed. So how do I close them? All I need to do is I use my finger, put my finger in the middle of the app and I slide it up, and that one's now closed. And I can actually just go all of these, and that will help as well with your phone running smoother. The more of those things that are open, the more it's using the memory of your phone. So if you imagine, let's say I'm just going to open a few things. Open, I press the home button, back home. Open, back home. So if you imagine the iPhone is a brain, if I double click, these things are on its mind. So the more things that are on its mind, the more sluggish it will become when you try to run it or you try to use one particular app. So that's also an indicator. If your phone starts freezing, it's probably because you've got too many things open in the background. Now, if you've got an iPhone without the home button, what we do to get into the phone is we touch the screen to wake it up. And at the bottom, you'll actually see this line. It even tells you what to do, slide to unlock. So I simply slide up and then I pop in my code to get into the phone. Similar idea, I press the phone and I'm in the phone app, but how do I get out of this app? I actually put my finger at the bottom edge where this line is and I slide up, and now I'm back to the main screen. But just like with my iPhone with the home button, I haven't closed the app, I've only minimized it. So how do I see the apps that are still open? I slide my finger, but I keep my finger in the middle for an extra second, and now I can see the apps that are actually still open. So I simply flick them up like so, and they're gone. Next thing we're going to talk about is, of course, how do we actually use the phone app itself? Imagine you get an iPhone and you don't know how to use the phone. That would be quite sad, I must say. So we want to make sure that you're confident with that first. So when I open the app, we're just going to focus on just the things to get you started. So first thing you might want to do when you have the phone app is you might want to add a contact that you would frequently call. This saves you having to manually type their number down each time or go get to your address book and find their number, etc. So when I'm in the phone app, you'll actually see at the bottom here, we've got different sections. So as the name may suggest, we go to the contact section, and that is where we can add our contacts. So as you can see, I've added one person so far, but otherwise I'm looking very lonely at the moment. So at the top right, you'll see a plus symbol. So I'm just going to press that now. And this is what it looks like to add a new contact. Really straightforward. What do we want first? We want the first name of the contacts. Let's just say I want to add John. And currently I can't spell John. And last name I tap and then I type, let's say John Appleseed, like so. As I scroll down, just by touching my finger and moving the page up, as you can see, I can then add information about John. Just to keep it simple for now, we'll just add his phone number. So we just say add phone, and then we pop that number in there, like so. I think that's too many numbers. Now, it does say here mobile, but let's say you've actually added their home number, not mobile. You can simply press mobile and change it to the correct label. But for now, I'm going to hit cancel because that is John's mobile. But once I'm done, I just simply press done. And now I have John's contact in my address book. At the top left, I can press the back button, and now you'll see I've got 2 contacts in my address book, John as well as myself. Now, how do I actually call someone that I've saved in my contacts? I simply press the name of them. So if I'm starting from the beginning, I press the home button. I want to make a phone call, so I press the phone. I go to contacts. So let's say I'm in another screen. I just make sure I go back to the contact section. And then I press the person I want to call. And then I've got their number. And then I press that number. So this is what it looks like when I am making a call. Now, once the call goes through, the screen will be pretty much the same. So to end the call, you'll see I've got this red button that I can simply press. But just before I do that, let's say you are busy doing something and you'd like to use the phone on speaker. You'll see this little speaker symbol. If I press it, I'll be able to switch this to speaker.
3, 0.
So in my case, the person didn't pick up because they're currently me and I'm busy recording this. So,
right now.
I simply press this to stop, like so. So that is how you make a phone call. Now, speaking of the phone, some key things to understand when it comes to phone calls is if we're just using the phone normally, where are we hearing the person? If I bring this up closer, you'll see there's this little strip. This is the receiver. So that's where you're putting your ear, and that's where the sound of the other person will come through when you're using the phone normally, not on speaker. And where are we talking? At the very bottom, you've got 2 series of holes. So on the left side of this little charging port, this is actually your microphone. So that is where you'll be speaking into when you are using the phone normally. However, when you are using the phone on speaker, it actually switches to a microphone that's built into the display, which is actually usually here. So when you're on speaker, a lot of people make the mistake of bringing their mouth here, which is actually not necessary because the whole idea is your hands are busy. Maybe this is on the table. So yeah, that's just another little tip. When you're on speaker, it's actually a microphone built into the display that it uses instead of the normal microphone that's at the bottom left. So on this topic, I wanted to share a story. It's a little bit embarrassing, but maybe it'll make you feel better if you're new to Apple yourself. So my very first Apple product was an iPhone 4, which was released quite a lot of years ago. Now, when I got my phone, I was, of course, really excited, and I was probably in my mid-20s at the time. So, and I'm very tech savvy, so had the new phone, but using the phone, I was finding that I couldn't hear people when I'd be on a phone call, which obviously was really annoying being a really new phone. So I called Apple support on the phone and said, hey, you know, I don't know why, but when I'm on a call, I can't seem to hear people. I don't know, I've turned the volume up. I have no idea what's going on. And so they ended up helping me book an appointment to see someone at the Genius Bar, one of their technicians. So literally took a few days. I think this is like the 4th day now that I had the phone. Went to the store, brought my phone in, told the technician, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, every time I'm on a call, I just can't seem to hear someone. It's really, really annoying. So the technician picked up my phone and literally looked at it, and he basically peeled off the plastic cover that the phone had come with and said, in a very polite, way, perhaps this might be the problem, but yeah, let's give it another try. We can do a test call and see if that fixes the issue. And I'm just looking at him like, oh my God, I wish I could just crawl and hide somewhere. That was seriously the issue. So yeah, and that was when I was in my mid-20s. Apparently, to make myself feel better, a lot of other people had a similar issue where they kept the plastic cover because they wanted the phone to be, you know, not get scratches and all of that. So yeah, that's a bit of a funny story relating to that receiver. Make sure you take off that cover so that you can actually hear people clearly. Next thing is the volume buttons. So on the left of the phone, and this is the same no matter what kind of phone you have, we have two buttons, as you can see, as well as this little switch. So this top button is to increase the volume, so you'll notice that's now full, and this bottom button is to decrease the volume, so you'll see that little line showing the volume is decreasing. So this isn't quite a master volume that controls all the app volumes, but rather you use these buttons to adjust the volume when you are in the app that you want the volume changed. So for example, if I was back in that phone call and I can't quite hear the person clearly, I would look for these two buttons, press the top button so it's up high, so that should ensure it's the highest volume in terms of being able to hear the other person. If I'm watching a movie, again, I'll adjust the volume for the movie, so it is going to be per application that you can use these buttons in terms of controlling volume. Now the other really important little switch is just above the volume buttons. So it's a bit of a clue, the fact they are near the volume buttons, they actually control volume by helping us quickly turn our phone on silent. So if I bring this closer, so it's not a button I press, but it's a switch that I dig my nail into and I flick back. So once I've flicked the switch back, there we go. You see it says here silent mode on. And if I bring it really close, it will change color. So if I do it again, that's normal. That's indicating it's on silent. So on some other phones, the color is different. So if I show you this one here, you'll see the color is like an orangey red. Flick it forward, that's normal. So that is our silent switch. That's a useful one. Again, you are in a meeting and you want to make sure your phone's on silent. You don't have to fumble around. You don't have to keep holding this down. You can leave the volume high like you normally would, and you simply make sure this switch is flicked back and you see that little color there. So that is silent. Now, the last tip that I want to share in terms of the things you must know to get started is when it comes to a mobile phone, it's probably how to send a text message. So this is what we do. The application for sending messages also has a green background like the phone. So think green as the ones to go and get started when it comes to the phone. So I press this little icon here that looks like a speech bubble. So this is what the screen looks like when you've got no messages so far, when you are not quite a social butterfly just yet. So what we do is there is an icon that allows us to create a new message. So if I bring this up close, you'll see it here. It's a page and pencil. So think of page and pen when you want to write a new note. So messages is simply a note that you want to send to someone. So I press that symbol and it looks like this. So you've got different sections. So the first section is the to field. So this is where we type the mobile number of the person we want to send the message to. Now, if you don't remember their number from the top of your head, the great thing is we can add them from our contacts if we've previously saved them. So this is how we do that. We either type their name as we've put them in our contacts. So I'm going to type myself. And as you can see, I've only just started typing my name and it's suggested my number here, and I can just select it like so. That's one way we can add someone. The second way is by pressing this plus symbol. It now shows me my very sad looking contacts book. and then I can select the person from the list, and there they are. So in this case, as you can see, I've added myself twice. So if you've accidentally done that, no problems at all. You'll see my keyboard here, and I've got this little backspace, so I can just go back, back. I only want to add myself once. So then I simply touch in the box above the keyboard, like so, and this is where I can type my message. So I can simply go, you know, hello, and then if you have fat fingers like really all of us, you might accidentally hit the wrong key, but it gives me some suggestions, so I can touch it if it's the correct suggestion. However, I want to show you a really awesome tool that makes sending messages easier. It's not perfect, but it will very likely save you time. So on your keyboard, somewhere on your keyboard, you should see a little microphone. So often it's next to the space bar. Sometimes it might just be at the bottom corner. But what I do is I can actually use this microphone to dictate my message. So I just touch it with my finger. Now, when this is the first time that you are using this, it'll prompt you to enable this function. So I say, yes, I want to enable dictation. Then it's actually going to start dictating my message immediately. So you'll see now I press enable. So it will ask you, do you want to help Siri improve, the function, or rather, do you want to allow Apple to sort of see how this function's going, make it better? So you can say not now, or you can share, totally up to you. I'll just say not now. So now it's actually listening to what I'm saying. And as you can see, it's appearing in text on the screen. So you do need to dictate punctuation. So this might remind you a bit like back in school where the teacher dictated a passage and you had to put the full stops, etc. And it's done it for me now. You do also need to dictate things like you want to go to the next line. So as you can see, it's actually gone to the next line. But until you press this keyboard button, it will keep on dictating your message. So I'm going to press this now. So let's say most of this is not right. Some of it I can keep, and I just want to clear some of it. I simply press the backspace here. As you can see, so just like a normal computer keyboard, I can press. If I press long, it actually will start to delete it faster, so I can clear just the bits that were wrong a little bit quicker. But that is a little tip when it comes to using your phone. But otherwise, we're going to press the home button to get out of it. We double press and we flick up from the middle so that we ensure that's all closed. Now, if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button that you should see just below. That helps our channel grow and helps other people find us. Plus, you get to find out when we release new free lessons. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can check out our website, which you should see on the screen as well as in the description below. And finally, this is your channel, not mine, not ours. So whatever you'd like to learn next, please do let us know in the comments below. But thank you for listening.